Anyone who believes in indefinite growth on a physically finite planet is either mad or an economist.
We don't want to focus politics on a notion that involves the rejection of principles around which a large majority of our fellow citizens organize their lives.
We are not as endlessly manipulable and as predictable as you would think.
My feelings about large corporations go back to the age of 18, where I was packing chocolates at Terry's in York. It's sort of fashionable to knock large corporations, but the truth is that all of us consume their electricity, we drink their water, we fly in their planes, we buy their insurance. And although one can argue that large corporations are doomed, there isn't any evidence of that. There's no evidence that large corporations are getting smaller or there's fewer of them. In fact, there's more of them and they're getting larger. So what expectations can we have of them? We live in a world which is changing very fast, and that's been actually the focus of my research now for 10 years. For 10 years, I've been working with people from a whole bunch of companies, and these are they, about the future of work. And what's interesting, I think, about this research consortium that I've been leading is it's both international, and that's important because some of the most interesting ideas are coming from places in the world you wouldn't have expected. And it covers different sectors, and that's also interesting because different sectors have different ways of looking at the world. Now, when we think about the future, there's lots of ways of talking about it, but I've specifically talked about and described these trends. And just to pull a few of them out, I mean, what we know about the future is incredible levels of connectivity. What we know about the future is profound changes in the nature of work, particularly what some have called the hollowing out of work, which sees most medium-skilled jobs either being outsourced or being replaced by technology. A future where the world that we've produced is now creating problems both in terms of poverty and in terms of climate change. And when you think about that, when I think about that, I ask two questions. One was, what would I tell my children? What would I advise my kids and my friends? And the second is, what would I say to corporations? What would we say to Unilever? What could one say to Arm? What would one say to Tata Consulting Services? And it seems to me that all that one can say, and by the way, it's the same as you say to people, is it's about resilience. We don't know what the future is going to be, but what we do know is it's going to change faster than anything that's happened before. And we do know that large institutions have an enormously important role to play. Now, it's easy to diss them. It's easy to say they're greedy, they're short-term, and all those things are true. But it's much more than that, because actually large institutions are made up of people like you and I. In fact, some of you in this audience work for a large corporation, and you care about life, you care about the world, you care about things. I'm a humanistic psychologist. I believe that most of us are good, and I think most of us want to be in corporations that do good. And rather than dissing them, my question would be, can we ask more of you? And that's really where I come out in terms of preparing for the future. So what might we ask of companies? Well, I'm formulating it in three ways. First of all, we can ask businesses that they help every single person within their organization to be the best they can be and to be as resilient as they can be. It seems to me that there are three things that make every one of us resilient. One of those things is about the way we think about, the way we develop ourselves intellectually in terms of our wisdom. The second is about the way we keep ourselves emotionally strong and vital, incredibly difficult in today's world, you know, when so many of us are under such levels of stress. And the third is about how we connect with each other, because we know that innovation, a number of you in this room are fascinated by innovation. Innovation comes through connectivity. It comes through different people connecting together and having great ideas. So how do companies do that? Well, let me give you some ideas about what I see. So here's Tata Consulting Services, a company that currently employs 360,000 people and that grows at 20% a year. This is a serious player. And what Chandra, who runs TCS, has said is, I want everyone to be connected to every single person, and I would like ideas to flow. He is actually achieving that. I mean, there are 3,000 communities of people in TCS who are talking to each other. There are 40,000 people who are coming in every day to talk. Next year, he's going to ban email. Why? Because email is hierarchical. He's actually going to say,